every time a game happens in the WNBA, somebody's getting abused, somebody getting beaten, somebody is getting hurt, man. Somebody is getting hurt every game in the WNBA, and they just fail to realize this, fail to have any protocols on stopping the nonsense, man. My God. Boom! Right there. Oh, my goodness. Boom! Right in the face, man. Right in the face. Now, like I stated, I get it. You might be mad that Lexie put her hand on your forehead. But fam, there is no reason for you to be throwing elbows to somebody's face like that. Come on, man. Throwing elbows to the face.
That wasn't just a foul. That was a breaking point. I've been in this league. I've seen the cheap shots. I've felt the biased whistles. But what we are witnessing with the Indiana Fever isn't just a rough patch or a string of bad luck. This is a complete, systematic dismantling of a team, broadcast live for the world to see. This is their season from hell. And that elbow to Lexie Hull's face was the moment everything finally shattered. You think you know how bad it is? You have no idea. Stick with me and I'll show you the truth they don't put in the box score. The story of how a team's spirit was broken, one brutal blow at a time. Before the referees could even get involved, before the opponents could land their shots, the Fever were already in a war with their own bodies, and they were losing. Badly. This isn't just an injury bug. It's a plague. The list of casualties reads like a horror story. It started with their superstar, the player the entire franchise is built around, Caitlin Clark. Sidelined for over a month with a groin injury that the team has been mysteriously quiet about, the centerpiece of their future, watching helplessly from the bench. But it didn't stop there. The hits kept coming, each one more devastating than the last. Sophie Cunningham, the team's heart and soul, their enforcer, gone for the season with an MCL tear. Sydney Colson, a veteran presence, out for the season with a torn ACL. Ari McDonald, another key guard, gone for the season with a right foot fracture. And just to twist the knife, Chloe Bibby was a last-minute scratch with a knee injury right before the Minnesota game. That's 5 players gone, 3 of them for good. The entire structure of the team erased. Let me tell you what that does to a locker room. It creates a constant state of fear. Every time you plant your foot, you wonder if you're next. The human cost is staggering. Players are being asked to do the impossible, to carry a load their bodies were never meant to handle.
Lexie, did you come into tonight kind of expecting to play darn near the whole game just with the injury situation and then the personnel available?
Damn, you played 37 minutes.
I mean, you played a lot too, Kels. When did you play? 35. I mean, yeah, we're down people, so gotta suck it up, play a little tired a few minutes, and take in those timeouts as best we can. But yeah, I mean, we're down people.
Gotta suck it up. That's the player's code. But there's a limit. Playing 35, 37 minutes a night when you're not used to it isn't just tiring, it's dangerous. That's when your mechanics break down, when you land just a little bit wrong, and a season or a career ends. The team has been forced to survive on what we call patchwork fixes, hardship contracts. Players like Shea Petty, Odyssey Sims, and Aerial Powers are signed on the fly, thrown into the fire with no time to build chemistry, no time to learn the system. They're just bodies to fill the void. Coach Stephanie White is trying to hold it all together with tape and glue, but she knows the reality.
We've had 3 players in the last I don't know how many days, and 2 of those players are point guards, so not really. But you know, at the same time, our ability to make plays out of what we have, right? I think a lot of our spacing allows players to do what they do best, creates opportunities for them to be successful, and then it's just making the right reads and finding the right pass, you know, on time, on target. And some of that is with experience with your teammates, and some of that is instinct. And so we are trying to do as much as we can to put players in position to use those instincts.
You can hear the exhaustion in her voice. She's trying to build a professional basketball team out of instincts and desperation. That's an impossible task. And just when you think it can't get any worse, just when the team is at its most vulnerable, the other predators begin to circle. When a team is this wounded, they become a target, and the referees seem all too happy to help their opponents take aim. If the injury report was a tragedy, the officiating has been a flat-out assault, and no one has been more vocal or paid a higher price for speaking out than Coach Stephanie White. She has become the most fined coach in WNBA history, and it's not for arguing balls and strikes. It's for daring to call out the corruption she sees every single night. She screamed about the unbelievable disrespect her team faces from the officials. She's pointed out the blatant double standard in how fouls are called against her players versus their opponents. She famously called Aaliyah Boston the worst officiated post player in the league, a statement of fact that cost her thousands. She's fighting a war on two fronts, and the league is punishing her for her courage. This brings us to that night in Minnesota. The Fever are already a ghost ship, a skeleton crew just trying to stay afloat. And then the moment happens. Lexie Hull is playing defense on Kayla McBride. McBride swings through to get free, and instead of a basketball play, she delivers a vicious direct elbow to Hull's face. Hull crumples to the floor. It's a textbook flagrant foul, obvious to anyone with eyes. But what's the call on the floor? A foul on Lexie Hull. The victim was punished. The message from the officials was clear. Not only will we not protect you, we will blame you for the attack.
We're going to look at it. So foul there on Indiana, on Hull there, but then that is a technical.
That is a technical. Dead ball, contact technical.
It's a little surprising to see so many of these happen in one game because...
Oh, and I don't like the way Lexie...
It's chaos. It's injustice. Even after a review, McBride gets a slap on the wrist, a simple technical foul for what looked like an assault. The fans, the analysts, everyone watching knew what they saw. It wasn't just a mistake. There was something else behind it.
This was intentional. Now, if it wasn't intentional, okay, give it a flagrant one. I understand it. She wasn't trying to do it. Cool. But this was intentional. All right? She had malice on the heart with this one. Bad intentions. Okay? She was trying to wreck some stuff up there doing this one. Hey, let's just keep it a grand, man. Let's just keep it a grand. Kayla McBride was trying to knock Lexie right on her booty cheeks, but she succeeded at, fam. Knocked her clean out. Look at this. Knocked her clean out, man. Oh my goodness. I mean, folded. Look at how her legs are folded right here. Come on, man. Knocking her clean out right here. That was bad intentions, dog. That was bad intentions. I don't care what anybody say, man. That was bad intentions, man. And the refs have to do something about it. You have to make sure that players don't feel comfortable getting out of pocket and doing things like
bad intentions, malice on the heart. That's what people were seeing, because that's what it felt like, a deliberate act of violence that the league's officials simply decided to ignore. The situation became so grim that Hull's own mother, Jaime Hull, had to post on social media to reassure everyone. She wrote, "She is okay, sore neck and jaw, but she is okay. One tough kid that can take a hit and never complain." Think about that. A mother has to publicly announce that her daughter survived a professional basketball game. That's not sports. That's a complete failure by the WNBA to provide a safe environment for its athletes. This is the definition of a hostile work environment, and the league is the one creating it. But the physical blow from McBride and the institutional blow from the referees wasn't even the most heartbreaking part of that moment. What happened next is something I've rarely seen in my career. It was a betrayal that cuts deeper than any elbow ever could. As Lexie Hull lay on the hardwood grabbing her face in agony, the camera pans out, and what we see is unforgivable. Her own teammates, Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard, are standing just feet away, motionless. They just watch. There's an unwritten code in professional sports. It's a sacred rule. When your teammate gets hit with a cheap shot, you react. You get in the opponent's face. You stand over your fallen teammate to protect them. You send a message to the other team and to the refs. Not on our watch. You do something. But Boston and Howard did nothing. They stood and watched as their teammate writhed on the floor alone. Fans exploded with a kind of fury I've never seen directed at a player's own team. They called them useless and soft. They all pointed to one missing piece, Sophie Cunningham. Before her season-ending injury, Sophie was becoming the team's enforcer. She was the one who would have been in McBride's face before Hull even hit the ground. When the Fever lost Cunningham, they didn't just lose a shooter, they lost their spine. That moment on the floor proved it. The injuries hadn't just broken their bodies, the constant beatdown from the league had broken their spirit. This was the true breakdown, not on the scoreboard but in their hearts. They had been victimized so thoroughly, so consistently, that they had forgotten how to fight back, even for each other. That's the brutal truth. This isn't a playoff team. It's a collection of survivors clinging to the wreckage, hoping one person can somehow save them from drowning. They are a team that has been physically shattered, emotionally battered, and now spiritually broken. They are the ultimate victims of a season that has felt less like a competition and more like a punishment. And now, into this wasteland of broken bodies and broken spirits, a flicker of hope appears. Or is it a mirage? After weeks of silence, Caitlin Clark is back on the practice court.
We got our best indication yet that Caitlin Clark is on her way back toward a return for the Indiana Fever. That's because she was seen participating in shoot-around before the Minnesota Lynx game. Now, that doesn't mean she's playing. She's still out for that game, and she hasn't returned to full practice yet, but she is back on the court with her teammates. This coming on the heels of Stephanie White saying she hopes that Clark would return to the lineup before the regular season is out, and that when you see her participating in practice, you will know she's on the way. So you see Caitlin Clark, this video captured by Chloe Peterson at shoot around. You can see Caitlin doing some work right there, just, warm up work, back and forth on the court, but nonetheless on a basketball court. It's been a long time since we've seen Caitlin Clark on a basketball court. Certainly a long time since we've seen Caitlin Clark play basketball. Then there was a little bit more footage here, and you see Caitlin involved on the floor yet again, even handling the ball, working with her teammates. I mean, that's an important sign there, to see her working with her teammates.
She's moving with her teammates again, handling the ball, looking like the savior everyone has been praying for. But seeing this doesn't fill me with hope. It fills me with dread. Because the question is no longer if Caitlin Clark can save this team. The question is, what is there left to save? Can one player, no matter how talented, heal a roster this decimated? Can she score enough points to overcome officials who seem determined to penalize her team into oblivion? Can she single-handedly mend a team spirit that was so broken they wouldn't even stand up for their own teammate? Her return isn't a guaranteed storybook ending. It might just be the final tragic chapter in the worst season a team has ever had to endure.